Sagar, we wait for 1 or 2 minutes for people to join, na?
Yes, yes, sir.
Let me know so that then we can start.
Sir, we can start, I believe.
Okay. Maybe little more participants. We wait for another 2-3 minutes. 2-3 minutes we should wait.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I think I will start. Uh, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar of Skilling for Growth, Building a Strong Freight Forwarding Industry. This is a special program webinar which we have organized. As everybody is aware that the logistic industry is really a sunrise industry, and a lot of schemes from coming from government, increase in GDP. There is a need of really the skilled people in logistics sector. And what are the projections are that by 2027 we will need additional 10 million people into the logistic industry, in addition to present 22 million. So which gives a lot of opportunities for people, new people, as well as the people who are already in industry to upgrade their skill. As everybody is aware that there is a lot of new competition coming in. Also the need because of digitalization, the AI, and implementation of technology, there is a need to upgrade your skills in order to remain relevant and to progress in this industry. So today we have organized this webinar. This is a joint program which FFI, IIFF, and 21CC, which has done. In past, we have done one webinar similar to this. However, based on the various inputs and earlier learnings, we have made a little changes. So today I welcome FFI Chairman Dushyant Mulani ji, Sanjay Tiwari, who is CEO of the 21CC, Sudeep Day, Secretary, other office bearers, Dr. Nirav, for this program. So uh, I think this program will give you more insight of what is required to be done, what skill sets are important. With this short opening, I hand it over and I request Chairman Dushyant Mulani ji to speak and give his keynote and address the gathering. So over to you, Dushyant ji.
Thank you, Sansar. Welcome all of you. Very good afternoon from FFI and Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders. It's our honor today to be associated with 21CC, Mr. Sanjay Tiwari ji, and his team, Nikhilji, Ms. Talwar, everybody. Logistics is the buzzword. Everybody across the country, this is one sector which is growing, which is generating employment, creating new kind of entrepreneurship, and the kind of talent, mindset, and the skills which are required for success in this field to drive this, the drive and logistic organization, whether it be customs, freight forwarding, other associated related tasks which have to be carried out, all require different kind of mindset, skill set, the handling the profitability of an organization. So various factors are involved, and it all starts with skill development, mindset, and creating a compliant organization, because cost of non-compliance is far much greater than cost of compliance. So when we look at that, our team out here of Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders, our office bearer in charge, Mr. Sudhir Agarwal, our honorary secretary, Mr. Sudeep De, immediate past chairman, Mr. Shankar Shinde, Tej contractor, president IIFF, Dr. Neerav Thakkar, and on with the experienced shoulders of our Director General, Mr. Dr. Sant. We all are here to give our members with this tie-up with 21cc a flexi learning option, an online learning option into various basket of verticals under logistics, custom clearance, and freight forwarding. How do we go ahead? So this is a new kind of arrangement that is being rolled out, and I would request all to participate in this, give wide publicity to this amongst our fraternity, and let's get it. Mr. Tiwari, thank you for conceptualizing this. Maybe we, as the feedback is derived from our members, maybe you can further customize, reconceptualize, and roll out. So over to you, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dushantji, very much for your remarks, and Dr. Sant for your introduction as well. And it's truly an honor to be here today to be presenting this together with FFAI. And I think Dushantji's opening remarks about the complexity affecting the organization, and I love the statement that it's so much more costly to rectify a mistake than to do it right the first time, I think was very apt. I come from the logistics industry, and I very often say to people, I don't like to say it, but I say it, that in our business, we cannot afford to do something twice, because our gross margins are so slim that if you have to make a trip twice, if you have to issue a BL twice, if you have to set a shipment twice, you're already losing money. So we live in a very competitive world. The growth prospects for logistics in India, as both Dr. Sant and Dushantji said, are excellent. But how do we capitalize on this? First of all, we need to realize that the young people coming into the marketplace, into the labor market, have a lot of choice open to them. We are not the only game in town. And partially we have to sell ourselves to them as an attractive industry. Those of us who've been in the industry know how wonderful and gratifying it is to work in this industry, but it is not an automatic choice. And the other day, there was somebody from a very large Indian freight forwarding organization who called me up and he said, Sanjay, these young people are taking dead-end jobs in a bank rather than joining our company, even though we offer them a much more exciting career prospect. So how do we convince them otherwise? When you don't fill a position, a key position, it impacts the number of customers you can serve, the revenue you generate, the profit you don't make, and the market share you don't increase. And if you get the wrong hire, it can also actually end up disturbing your organization. So there's a lot of benefit in making sure you get the right people and you're able to upskill them, which is, I think, why FFFAI and IIFF conceptualized this entire program. And the benefits of getting good people are huge, especially if you are a small, mid-sized company or a family-run business. Your specialty are your people, and they can help you with increased productivity, with less mistakes, with superior customer service, which the large organizations find difficult to deliver. That is the hallmark of some of the smaller or mid-sized companies, whether they are customs brokers or freight forwarders. So how do we get these young people who are joining to actually learn these things? And we looked up some research done in the United States, and it actually proved that people who have been well trained add on average 20% in top line, because of those well trained people, customers will come back to you and say, I would rather you handle my clearance or you handle my freight forwarding, right? So some of the skills which we have been discussing with the board of FFFAI and IIFF that we want to impart to people if we are to upskill the young people and make sure that this industry thrives in the decades to come, not just the years to come, but the decades to come, because India's growth story is going to go on for a long time. These are some of the topics, things around customs brokerage, but also things around technology. Dr. Sant also mentioned, the impact of AI, regulatory compliance, customer service. So a mix of hard skills and soft skills that need to be imparted. In the old days, what did we do? We put a youngster next to an experienced employee and said, "Yahan pe baith jao, sit here," and hope that after 2 or 3 months, he or she would learn something. Chemists call that osmosis, and osmosis in human beings does not work that well. So it's much better that you actually try and train people and skill them to bring them up to the right level. And these are some of the topics that we as 21cc have in our catalog. We have a catalog of around 180 plus modules. And my colleagues Kriti and Prasad will show you in a few minutes how to come onto the platform. But these are the kinds of topics which can be imparted to your staff when they come in. And you can see Freight Forwarding 101 is obviously very foundational to even explain what does a freight forwarder do. And Freight Forwarding 201, which by the way was co-developed with FFFAI, talks about things such as general rules of interpretation and the harmonized system. Right? As we develop this partnership, there will be many other topics that we will develop going forward. And Dushanji was also alluding to it, that we can customize, and I think Dr. Sant was saying we can customize content as we go along to the needs of the industry and also to the needs of individual companies. We have a whole team of people in 21cc who develop content, and we can make it industry specific or even company specific. You say, well, this is what I do as a company, and that is slightly different. So I would now like to hand over to my colleague Kriti, who will actually show you.
Sanjay, sorry to interrupt you. I think when we were doing the Tej contractor, who is architect and who is a pioneer in starting your collaboration with 21cc, had joined. So I would like Tej contractor to
Absolutely.
insight and how he designed the courses. So just before we go into the actual, I want Tej contractor to dwell upon how this has been developed and this thing.
Perfect.
So, over to you, Tej.
Thank you, Sansab, for giving me an opportunity. So, guys, just to share, the journey of digitalization as far as learning has been very exciting. I must confess, with us, Sanjay's hair has gone from black to gray. He's put in a lot of effort. So, for those of you who don't know, Sanjay has a background as far as air and ocean is concerned. He was a part of KLM and a part of Maersk. Okay, so I'm a little less audible. Can everyone hear me now?
No, we can hear you. It's fine. Yeah.
So, all right. So the journey with 21cc has been very exciting. While we all learned to go online, work digitally, etc., one area that is very significantly important has always been education. And education is, it's not just today, it's been the requirement for, it's in Indians' DNA. You know, we go abroad and we perform. It is because of our core and sound education. So we, at IIFF, we said, why don't we look at new age learning? This thought came to me. I was hiring 5 interns and they were about to join. And today it's very difficult to put kids, you know, young kids onto a computer. But if you put something in their phone, that's the best way for them to learn. And I had one of the young learners come to me and said, "Sir, I'm ready to learn whatever you want to teach me, but you have to teach me in 5 minutes." Now I'm scratching my head, you know, I'm like, मेरे को 15 साल हो गए and I have still not learned. And this girl tells me learn in 5 minutes. It is that time I came across Sanjay, and we had a lot of deliberation and exchange. And for those of you who know me, I'm very passionate about a topic called Incoterms. And he said, and Sanjay came to me and said, Tej, we'll teach Incoterms in 10 minutes. I was taken aback. I said, I don't think you can do justice in 10 minutes. But after putting things in perspective, it is the new way to learn. I have 2 very young daughters, as some of you may know. Their attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So it is with this perspective we, you know, got into an engagement with 21cc. They have some fantastic modules learning. While there is a lot of content on logistics, there is going to be coming soon a lot of content on, you know, customs as well, because that's where the dynamic requirement is going to be down the line. The journey has been fantastic. I would like to, you know, thank all our past chairmen of the federation. It happened during IPC Shankar sir's time. Dushan Bhai and all of the you know, board members have been very clear. We need to get this out there. We need to learn. We need to have our members learn, upgrade their knowledge. In this day of of Amrit Kal, as you know, our Honorable Prime Minister defines, the growth is going to be exponential. If we don't put our heads together, the cost of one single mistake is going to be exponentially high. Thank you very much, Pramodji, once again for giving me an opportunity to speak. And Sanjay, sorry to jump in between the presentation.
No, that's okay. Sanjay sir, 1 minute. Tejbhai, so long you have finished your jumping in bit, we also have with us Sudhir sir,
Yeah.
who's actually our honorary treasurer, but he also happens to be the office bearer in charge of IIFF. So Sudhir bhai, I'm sure the audience would like to hear your thoughts out, and then we can carry on with the PPT, sir, if that is okay.
Thank you very much, but I will make it very, very short because already Sansab, our chairman, and Tej Bhai and Sanjay Bhai have already spoken about it. And as very clearly mentioned, now is the age of fast food. So everything everybody wants in a shorter span of time. So even knowledge modules have become smaller, better, and crispier. And that is what the intention of this particular education module, wherein we are trying to give everybody access to segment-wise information which are to the point, crispier, and which can be learned at your own pace and at your own time. So there is no timetable wherein wherever you have got extra time, say half an hour time, you can always log into one or the other modules. There are various types of modules, and in times to come, they will be updated as per the requirement of the trade. Logistics is a very dynamic line, and I think a proper education will make it much better and interesting. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Now we would like to hear from Sanjay Bhai and his team.
Thank you, Sudhirji, and thank you for gifting us an additional term in marketing. I think we will start using that in our tagline, that our modules are crispier, because it's got a very nice nice ring to it. Kriti, let me give the floor to you, please. So please show the system. Yeah.
I'll share my screen. Thanks. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our platform. It is called 21cc Skill. You can see a visual here, which we call a fantasy map, and this is customizable. So right now we're showing the India map because this is the FFI environment. So there are things that people can connect with. And we've actually used this map to create a learning path for people to put down some main topics from logistics and transportation. So as Sanjay was explaining, we have over 180 modules on logistics and transportation, out of which we have 2 dedicated courses on freight forwarding. One is called Freight Forwarding 101, which has introductory modules on role of a freight forwarder. So what is it that freight forwarders actually do? What are their roles and responsibilities? Why do we need this role of freight forwarding in a supply chain? So their role in in an entire supply chain, where do we position them, and how do they actually then form relationships with other stakeholders in the supply chain? The next module is on shipping and accounting. This explains how freight forwarders make profits. So, we give very clear scenarios to say how goods are imported or exported. And again, where does the role of the freight forwarder come in? And how do they, what kind of margins they work with? And how do they make relationships with shipping lines or airlines to help their customers transport goods from one place to another? Then we have the infamous Incoterms module that Tej was speaking about. This is actually a long module. We've created a very detailed scenarios on each of the Incoterms. And again, using very real examples of different kinds of products and different kinds of import flows and export flows to make people realize how Incoterms can be correctly applied to different situations. Then we have 2 modules, one on air freight and ocean freight. These explain the process flows. What happens when someone wants to send a package through air freight or through ocean freight. What are the different documents that are involved in that process? And again, what are the steps that a freight forwarder needs to take to complete that entire flow? Then we have a module on cargo ships. This is, this gives an overview of the different kinds of cargo ships that are available in the industry. I'll show you an example in a bit. I'll just talk about the other modules first. The other course, Freight Forwarding 201, has 2 modules. This is actually, if you're a custom broker or you deal with custom brokerage processes, then these modules would be beneficial for you. So one is the introduction to the harmonized system. This explains, how the entire, why do we need harmonized system? What is the global body that decides these product codes that are used worldwide? And again, it gives very real examples of different kinds of products and how codes are assigned to them. The second module, General Rules of Interpretation. This is again a long module. This takes you through the 6 rules of interpretation. And again, using very real examples of products, it tells you how you need to interpret the different rules, their subdivisions, how do you read the chapters, how do you find the exact product that you're looking for in that vast catalog of, that custom tariff classification catalog. And then how do you actually apply that and use that on different documents to make sure that you're compliant with the rules of tariff and customs. We have some other topics as well that we've provided for, in this learning program. So we have things on Logistics 101. These are, again, foundational topics. What exactly is logistics? What are supply chains? What happens in a warehouse? The different processes that happen when goods are stored in a warehouse or distribution center. We have a whole course on cold chain management. So this explains, the transportation and the storage requirements for products that require cold chain, the infrastructure, the standards and compliance that are needed, the trends that are coming in this industry. Then we have a course on warehouse management. This has modules on, again, the different trends that are coming in warehousing, technologies that are used there, some of the softer skills that you need to be able to communicate with teams in warehouses, and some IT-related topics as well. There are a few modules on out-of-gauge cargo. So if the cargo sizes are not standard, how do you deal with their transportation and their storage? Again, key topics that a freight forwarder should know. And then we have a few topics on health and safety. So the different human factors, whether it's complacency or lack of knowledge. These are factors that may be applicable in any workspace where they can lead to incidents or accidents. So being aware of these human factors is also essential. I'll just show you some examples from actual modules now. So this is the module on general rules of interpretation.
The objective of this module is to introduce you to the general rules for the interpretation of import tariff and to make you understand how to classify products as per the Harmonized System, or HS, that governs classification of goods. Rule 3 states that when, by application of Rule 2b, or for any other reason, goods are prima facie classifiable under 2 or more headings, classification shall be effected as follows. Rule 3a, b, and c. Rule 3a states that the heading which provides the most specific description shall be preferred to headings providing a more general description. Rule 3a states that where 2 or more headings seem to apply at first sight, the one which provides the most specific description of the product in question should be used. This means that a heading which names the actual product should be used in preference to one which only names a category to which the product could belong. Similarly, a heading that describes the whole product should be used in preference to one which describes part of it. However, where 2 headings both only describe part of the product, this rule cannot be used to tell which one to use, even if one seems more specific or detailed than the other. Mint tea is not stated specifically as a product in any of the tariff classifications. Although the product descriptions available are mint and tea, you must classify mint tea under the appropriate tea heading. That is, heading 0902, because it provides the most specific product description, since mint is only the flavor of the tea. Rule 3b states that mixtures, composite goods, consisting of different materials or made up of different components, and goods put up in sets for retail sale, which cannot be classified by reference to 3a, shall be classified as if they consisted of the material or component which gives them their essential character. Rule 3b applies to mixtures, composite goods, and sets that cannot be classified by use of the previous rules. These should be classified as if they consisted of the material or component which gives them their essential character.
So as you can see, we've used examples with every rule, and there are actually questions that users get in the rules as well. I'll show you an example from the Incoterms module now.
Ship. Under FAS, the seller clears the goods for export and delivers them when they are placed alongside the vessel at the named port of shipment till the agreed place of delivery. Seller is not obligated to contract carriage unless requested by the buyer. Buyer clears goods for import, loading goods onto ship, and transports them to final destination and assumes all risks and costs for goods from this point forward. FAS is suitable for general or bulk cargoes. However, FCA would be a better choice when it comes to containers. French company Blanche buys automotive machine parts from the Swedish company Nuevo. According to their contracts, Swedish company should deliver the goods alongside the ship in the port of Göteborg. From this point on, the French company Blanche is responsible for shipping goods to Sweden by ship for insurance costs, port costs in Sweden, inland transport, and customs costs. This is determined on the basis of FAS, which states that the buyer must cover the aforementioned costs and responsibility. Click on the blinking circle to know more. FOB, free on board. Under FOB, the seller clears the goods for export and delivers them when they are on board the vessel at the named port of shipment. Unless otherwise agreed, the seller arranges and pays for the pre-carriage in the country of export. However, main carriage is not paid by the seller. Buyer is responsible for overseas shipping and insurance, clears goods for import, transports them to final destination, and assumes risks once goods are on board. The USA Food Corporation got into a deal with the Canadian carrot producer with FOB Vancouver City Port in the contract. The USA Corporation arranges the shipment and informs the Canadian producer about the shipment port and date. According to the agreement, the Canadian exporter company must schedule the inland delivery and load the bulk goods to a ship because, as per FOB, the seller must arrange transport and load goods onto the ship.
Show you
Yeah.
quickly an example of
CIF.
a question. So these are the kind of question slides that come in. So every few slides, every 5 or 6 slides, there are questions like this to engage the learners and see whether they're actually understanding the content or not. I'll just go back to the main environment now and show you a few of the features of our platform. So content delivery is obviously one thing, but what we specialize is in the skill association. So with every piece of content we have, there are skills that we've attached to them in the backend, and these are actually based on the NSTC qualification packs. We've actually extracted the skills from their documents that they have defined for each job role within logistics sector. And as soon as the user goes through a module and they pass the assessment related to that module, which is within that single module, they get those skills listed here in their skills passport. So there's an immediate validation that they get that they have acquired those skills at a certain level. Of course, learners are free to go through the content over and over, and we kind of encourage that through outreach, through sending them messages. We use WhatsApp as well. We have in-app messages which can be sent in this inbox, and we also send out push notifications to motivate people from time to time. There are also some gamification elements that we use, again, to drive adoption. There's a leaderboard in the environment, and we're also able to convert learning as a challenge and associate rewards with certain milestones.
Great. Thank you so much, Kriti, I think for sharing those or giving us an insight into how the platform works, and more specifically also, what the content looks like. And I saw a couple of thumbs up reactions while you were presenting. So I really hope the members of the fraternity, and I use that in the broadest sense of the word, appreciate the thought that's gone into this. And we look forward, together with IIFF and FFAI, co-creating a lot more content that addresses the learning needs of the industry. And the platform that we have shown you, has some of these features that we've put up here. So hopefully that helps the young members of our industry to also learn in an easy way. I'd like to give the floor to my colleague Prasad, who who's going to show us how you as an employer can actually help to scale up your, the learning within your organization. If you want to sign up an employee, single employee, 2 employees, 10 employees, how can you do that? So together with FAI and Sagarji and the team, we have worked on integrating the FAI portal and our system so that through SSO we can actually bring the two systems together. So Prasad, over to you.
Yes. Thanks, Sanjay. So here we have the landing page of the FAI and 21cc integrated learning system. Here, to log into the system, we have 2 options. We have login as an admin and login as a learner. Today, I'm going to take you through login as an admin user flow. Here, you have to use the same credentials you use on the FAI portal, and we'll use the same credentials and send them through SSO to the FAI system, verify them, and once they are verified, we'll log you into the system. I'll quickly log in using one of the credentials I have. So once you click on login, you get verified through SSO, and once verification is completed, you land up on this page. This is the landing page of the system called as Manage Learners. On this page, you will see all the learners which you create in the FAI portal. And once those learners log into the 21cc system, those will be visible here in this table. I can quickly switch and show you how the table will look like when there are learners in the system. This is one of the examples. Here we have a total of 9 learners. Some of them are verified and some of them are not verified. So how do we define verified users? We define a user to be verified when they log into the 21cc system and they start exploring the content which are available to them. Now I'll move to how you can assign content to the people or the learners which you have created. You can either do that by the drop down next to the user, where you can select the package which you want to assign to that individual user. Sorry. Or what you can do is you can use the select all functionality to assign at least one package to all the users in your system. In that way, you can assign at least one package to everyone in your system. Once you do that, you have to click on Save Changes. And once you click on Save Changes, the entire assignment of packages to the users will be reflected in the below table. Now I'd like to show you the Manage Admins page. Here, you can add new admins to the system and you can give them access to manage all the content assignment to your learners. Once an admin logs in, they will be verified using OTP verification. And once they're verified, they'll land up on the same page, that is the Manage Learners page. We have already covered this page, so I'll move to the next page, which is billing. On the Manage Learners page, to assign content, you will have to have licenses, and which Mr. Sanjay will explain to us in the later slide. Once you have enough licenses, only then you can assign content to the users. And on the billings page, you will see the details of the plan which you have purchased. For example, for this user, I have a plan, an example plan named as Zero, which is a price of 18,000 people for 10 users or 10 licenses. And I've purchased that on this date. I don't have the expiry of the date because this purchase which I have made is a recurring purchase. So I'll only see the expiry date when this license is expired. That would be how the system will work on. I would like to hand over the screen to Mr. Sanjay Tiwari. I hope you like the presentation.
Thank you, Prasad, for that. And I want to stress again, Tej was being very gracious to us earlier, but a lot of work has gone in between Triple FAI and 21cc. Sagarji has been closely involved in bringing this integration together. So the entire objective is to make it as easy as possible. And obviously, this also means that we encourage everyone to be registered on the Triple FAI website, from which they can then, through SSO, come into this system. So it becomes part of your day-to-day doing business. Finally, I want to close our presentation and leave room for questions and discussion. We have listened also to the leadership team of Triple FAI. And when we launched this program last year, we were thinking of a package price around 2,800 rupees per person, covering X number of modules, some of which Kriti showed you today. But the feedback we got from the leadership team, and they in turn got it from many members, is that the amount should be brought down. And so we have amended the price to 1,800 rupees for a course per employee, also making the duration more palatable so that people don't have to spend hours at the computer learning. And in fact, Dushanji said, I thought he said it very well a couple of weeks ago. He said, I want it to be in such a way that the boys or girls working for me can actually do this on a Saturday, when they come into the office for a half day and do X amount of work. So if you have, for example, a team of up to 10 employees, then, and Prasad was just showing there, your cost would be 18,000, but if you have 2 employees, the cost would only be 3,600. Or you can, of course, always opt to let the employees pay for themselves. And we give a validity of 6 months so that people have enough time to take the courses. And as Kriti was saying, they can take it over and over again. We encourage it. It's not limited to a one-time, because the more often they do it, the better they will learn, especially with topics like harmonized system and the Incoterms. And all certificates will be co-branded by IIFF, Triple FAI, and 21cc Education, which really, I think, gives the employees something of tremendous value, because it is something that they can actually take pride in and see that the industry is investing in them. And this is my final slide, which is what's in it for you as an employer. And I started with those statements saying it's more and more difficult to get people. And Dr. Sant and Dushanji also told us that the industry is growing, but how do we upskill, and how do we upskill 10 million people? Well, it was mentioned earlier, well-trained people are a boon to your organization. They can help you increase your revenue by 20%. Any of us should sign up for that for a very small investment of 1,800 rupees per employee. Secondly, they become productive more quickly. They add output more quickly. They understand the intricacies. When the customer is saying something, they actually understand what the customer means, and they can help them with complex problems. And most importantly, I would say, you become more attractive as an employer, because young people talk. And even though they may have only an attention span of 5 minutes, as Tej was saying, but they talk. And they talk to each other and say, this is a good company to work for because my boss is investing in me to learn something. Why don't you come here and work? That is now becoming, even more than salary, the thing that young people choose for. So I really hope that this program with Triple FAI IFF becomes a success, and would like to hand back to Dr. Sant and Chairman for questions and redirect, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Sanjay ji. I mean, your other colleagues, it was wonderful presentation, and I think we got good insight of the courses which are available, and you are new working on the pricing and the validity. So now I think we will open. I request Dr. Nirav Thakkar and you, if there are any questions, maybe we can take that questions, or if there are some anybody has got any doubt or clarification is required, then they can ask now, which will be good to clarify, because everybody is here and it will be good opportunity to clarify the doubts. Yeah. So over to you and Dr. Nirav.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Pramod Sant. Thanks, Sanjay and your team. Wonderful presentation, as you've already seen, and the way things look. This is going to be like an exciting way to learn. We are really looking forward for people to integrate and try these options. We are looking at some options. If you're any of the questions, if they are here, I see one raised hand, Mr. Amritesh, if he is there available, maybe you can put into the Q&A section.
I don't know whether Amritesh ji wants to say something. It says they're talking permitted in brackets, whether he has access to the microphone or does he only have to use
I
chat?
think just been given access.
Huh.
Okay.
So
Yes,
do we
Mr.
promote him as a panelist or what? Nirav, we promote him as
sir?
a panelist?
No, I don't know. He just has
No,
been.
just allowed to speak.
Yeah.
No, he's saying it's by mistake.
Okay.
So I would have a question, Nirav.
Yes, Sudeep ji.
See, what I'm trying to find out is, I as a company, I am a member of FFI. I have my login credentials. But what if my employee wants to choose? If I've given my employees free hand that you all choose, so they log in with my ID and they go for it. They don't have an individual ID. Or if someone who's not even employed anywhere, and he or she comes to know of this and wants to apply.
So,
treat those cases.
Definitely. Thanks, Sudeep ji. Well, with being a FFI, member, and then where we are looking at the SSO integration as well. So this comes in help here, where we have the company as a member and part of the SSO, and then we have the multiple logins which can be issued with this. Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Tej, if you all want to add further on this to Mr. Sudeep's question.
No, I think the way Nirav ji, you're highlighting it is correct. We also discussed this, and Prasad can correct me if I'm wrong, but the verification takes place on the FFI site. So that's where your employees are defined, your key personnel are defined. There is a whole page on the FFI website where your staff members are defined. I know with Shinde-ji, when we were negotiating the contract a year ago, more than a year ago, we also discussed this, and Tej, you will recall this. At some point, Shinde-ji even said, even if somebody comes in, because you and I cannot stop somebody from giving their login details to somebody, if somebody were to come in, that could happen. They cannot come in representing a company because that verification will only take place through SSO at the front end of the FFI website. So they cannot come in representing, MCC, but yeah, an individual person could come in. And the second part of Sudeepji's question is very relevant. That also has been catered for, and Prasad, correct me if I'm wrong, that employees can reference their employer's membership with FFI, but they can buy content on their own, right? Because we accept that not everything will be paid for by the employer. Prasad, am I correct?
So for the learners to buy their own content, Sanjay, that's still in progress. It's going to be there, yes.
It will be there. So, but they will have to reference their employer's membership number, and then they will come in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the second thing is, I missed out on as to how they would ask questions on the system. That portion, was it there or I missed it out?
There is a messaging system, but Kriti, you want to talk to, I mean, if they have specific queries on the content mid-course, how would that work? They have to use our customer service line.
There is actually a support function within the app, so I can just quickly show you.
For example, while the course is going on, I want to stop and ask a question. Is that possible?
Yeah, you'll have to exit the course because within the module itself, you can't ask the question. But we have a contact us button in the main menu here. And people are, people can email us or they can chat with us via WhatsApp.
Ji, the question is with regards to any particular
Learning.
the course, anything in part of the learning, correct? Is
Yeah.
that what your question is? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But this, of course, can be used even for login related issues. But yeah, thanks for sharing this, Kriti. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I think I have one question. See, you have shown the certificate. Yeah.
Ji.
So, any criteria which is fixed for issuing certificate, that he has to pass all the question in first attempt, or he pass in fourth attempt. Because as you say that he can do course again and again. When the certificate will be issued, anything on that?
Kriti, you want to talk about that? So pass rate, both pass rate and number of attempts. Dr. Sant is asking both questions.
Yeah, so the pass rate that we've kept for now is 75%. So, generally there are 5 to 6 questions in any module, in a 10-minute module. So based on their score, and it can happen in any attempt. So they can, get that 75% in the first attempt, or they can get that in the fourth attempt. But as soon as they pass that threshold, they'll get the certificate.
And it is digital certificate which will be mailed to his email ID, which he is logged, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so they can actually see it in the platform itself, and it's co-certified with FFFAI and IIFF, and they can download it from the system
Okay,
as
they
well.
can download. Okay, understood. And if he do let's say he do one attempt with 75%, he gets certificate. He can do again course, and he can reach with more percentage. That time certificate will not be issued. It is once issued, 70% is crossed, he gets certificates. That's the end of story. Other is only practice for him. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Sant, I thought the accent was a foreign accent.
That was on one module, Sudeepji, the first one. That is simply machine voiceover, but actually everything there for the Indian market is recorded with an Indian voiceover.
Which I think is very important, because if it's for our employees,
it's
the voice they will relate to.
Correct. So it's a constant endeavor at our back end. It's a tough assignment for Kriti and her team to manage it, because conversely, when we are deploying things in the United States, then we have to choose a Canadian accent because it's kind of neutral, and so it's a full-time occupation. And then we also have certain things in regional languages. So we have things in Hindi, Marathi, Tamil, Kannada, Bengali, etc. So that all happens. Yeah.
Okay, Sudeepji was volunteering for the next one.
Yeah, Sudeepji, we have some modules that need translation, so we'll come to you, and voiceover both. There is a question. This is a googly, which I'm almost tempted to ask. This is more on the GST of filing. Acha, is this a topic suggested by Bala? Is there any plan to the finance team with regarding reconciliation, filing, GST returns, audit? Dr. Sant, you'll have to take a call on this. Is this something you would like us to develop or not?
So, as we mentioned, or as you mentioned, the number of areas, can you go back to that slide of area which we are talking at the first place?
Sansab, can I take this question?
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean,
so, Mr. Bala, that's a very good question, but I think you should leave some importance to your CA. If you do everything for him, then there's no value for him to charge you something.
Okay.
But, jokes apart.
That is okay, Tejbhai, that is okay. What you're saying is perfectly correct. But, as our CAs, the more litigation he gets us into, the more is his income. So, in that way, he would want to know whether he's being taken for a ride or not. Because we all face GST return issues, especially 2017, 18 cases.
Yeah.
So,
so Dr. Sant, go ahead, please. Yeah.
So I think at the moment we are focusing on this topic, because we started with some topics in logistics and freight forwarder, like freight forwarder's role, one topic about the classification rules, etc. But our more focus is on custom knowledge, customs and the logistics and freight forwarding, and the additional topic, which is like customer service, regulatory compliances, and this topic. So probably GST is not in radar. If we find more taker, we will internally discuss this topic. If we find that there is some really need that specific something GST issues for custom brokers and freight forwarder is required, then we can look into that. But at the moment in this space, we are not talking about GST topic.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Balaji has added one more addendum to that, saying just to account for our daily duties without making mistakes, etc. I think, Dr. Sant, you won't mind me saying this, that as we evaluate which topics to add, and this kind of suggestion is great, we have to look at the applicability, like how many people will it be relevant for, right? So that's the trade-off that we will have to jointly make. But these are fantastic subjects, actually. Yeah.
So what we are internally doing for everybody is this thing. There will be very topics. So internally we are discussing for people to give some suggestions on topics. I mean, little more detailing on to subject. We are working on that. So we'll keep this point in mind. Definitely GST is the issue. No doubt about that. It is one of the important challenges. So we'll keep this suggestion also in list that what needs to be done when we add topics or when we add into the new modules. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Sure, we are also getting some messages with regards to various topics, but yes, I think what the team has actually developed in terms of the topics are quite general in terms of learning the logistics part, and definitely all these suggestions we will be accepting. But some wonderful topics are already, work in progress is there and almost at the verge of completion. Sanjay ji, I remember so many topics, almost I think around 19 or 24 topics which we had discussed upon,
Correct.
warehousing, logistics, supply chain, and all. So let's get these rolled out. And yes, of course, what suggestions we are getting, we will definitely be adding those topics. But certain topics have already been deliberated in terms of understanding the general view and have been developed. Thanks.
Yeah, I've put my email address in the chat. So if anyone has any suggestions, either obviously through Dr. Sant, through anyone at FAI, or with us, we will share back and forth. So feel free to write to Kriti, myself, Prasad, Nikhil. Nikhil, by the way, my colleague here is also one of our senior writers. So a lot of the content on cold chain was developed by him. And we look forward to a very long-lasting collaboration. And thank you for having us as your guests today, Dr. Sant and Sagar and Chairman.
Okay, so I think we are right on time. So I think my job now is very simple. So first of all, I wanted to thank Chairman Dushyant ji to really put this onto top agenda, and Sudeep ji to pursue it continuously, that what are we doing with 21cc. So thanks for them and our entire office bearers of FFI. And a lot of efforts has been done how these courses are developed. I had a very detailed discussion with Sanjay ji. So Tej and Nirav, I think a lot of contribution has gone from them, really from practical side. So thank you, Tej and Nirav. And very important that these courses, as Dr. Nirav mentioned, we have to start from somewhere. So this is very important that what is made courses already, we start with that. And when you get a flare of this starting, so I mean, as Tej has also mentioned, when you start electronic media, whether it is a mobile or anything, you get hooked into that. And you see that it is interesting and you keep busy into that. So I am quite sure this learning experience will be similar. There will be a lot of new subjects and pressure on us that, okay, I've finished this all so many minutes course already several times. I need more courses. The second part is that we reworked on pricing. because we need to start, and so this is good. This is a webinar we will review after some time that what is going to happen, and we more and more such webinars to attract more people will do. Sanjay ji has done a lot of systematic efforts last time when the courses was launched, so they will continue with these efforts to have more people. So I really wanted to, and another thing is that in very short period, the Secretariat Sagar and team has taken a lot of efforts to get develop flyer, got people and do this webinar. I'm quite sure that the next webinar will have more and more people. By the time we will have some users who are able to share their experience also, which will help us. So I wanted to thank everybody and really looking forward for this skilling, which is the topmost priority for us today. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. I'm
you.
closing the webinar.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.